Hey guys, welcome to the Launchpad, and thanks for joining me with the rest of the Rehab Rebels. If you don't already know, the Rehab Rebels are on a mission to launch out of the rat race, and we're committed to doing it together. If entrepreneurship, real estate, and passive income mean as much to you as they do to us, then you're in the right place. Sit back, buckle up, and prepare for launch. If you're enjoying our episodes, don't forget to subscribe to the Launchpad and like us on Spotify. Just tap one of the links below. By subscribing, you'll get new episodes delivered straight to your library every week. Hey guys, and welcome to the Launchpad. My name is Tommy Nigro. I'm the host, and this is the very first episode of this podcast. So I thought I'd take some time to tell you what it's all about and why we decided to do it, and to give you a chance to see if it's a good fit for you. So here's the thing. The real reason we wanted to make a podcast is because we're trying to grow North Oak Investment. And why do we want to grow North Oak Investment? Because we want to have freedom for ourselves and our families. And beyond that, we want freedom for our staff, our clients, and our investors. I'm talking about freedom from the rat race. So what is the rat race? Well, it's a little different for all of us. For me, the rat race is dealing with recurring problems, sourcing enough capital, making sure we have enough loans to do, dealing with inefficiencies. For some people, the rat race might be working a dead-end job. It might be a lawyer endlessly clocking billable hours. It might be a money manager who can't escape hitting the phones. It might be an investor who's stuck spinning their wheels analyzing deals. It might be a real estate rehabber who can't stop swinging the hammer on their jobs. It might be a loan officer who can't see themselves getting out of the cycle of finding the next deal. I know I'm not the only one who wants to escape the rat race. I'm trying to build North Oak Investment because I want to get myself and my family out of the rat race. Our investors and our staff who work here with us, they're all trying to get themselves and their families out of the rat race too. So we all want to get out of the rat race. Great. But how's this podcast going to help us do that? Well, if you're watching this or hearing it right now, chances are that we all have one thing in common. And that is the fact that we've already chosen real estate rehabs to be one of the tools we use to get ourselves out of the rat race. Now, you might be thinking, well, that's not quite who I am. I like real estate, but I don't do real estate rehabs. I would ask, are you sure that's true? Don't we make all of our money on the purchase of a property? And how do we make a good purchase? Well, sometimes it's just luck. But most of the time, it's because we had the foresight to envision what a property might be worth if we solve several of its problems. Well, that is real estate rehab. And that's what we do here at North Oak. We help real estate investors of all shapes and sizes embark on their launch out of the rat race. For some of us, that means getting a loan and a line of credit to finance our next deal. For others, that means investing with North Oak and sharing in the rewards of real estate rehabs as a passive investor. All of us will benefit from putting our heads together and spending time sharing our successes, failures, and lessons learned so that we can all accelerate our launch out of the rat race. So why not make a podcast? Call it the Launchpad. Make it all about escaping the rat race with real estate rehabs, and start inviting all of our best role models onto the show to share their invaluable experience with the rest of us. Well, that's exactly what we did. And if that resonates with you, then congratulations, you are officially our newest Rehab Rebel. I'll be hosting the Launchpad 2 times per month. I'll be joined by a guest on most episodes, and those conversations will run between 45 to 60 minutes. We'll do our best to curate a guest list of top real estate professionals who can bring a wealth of knowledge and experience to the table. But before we dive into our awesome guest list, I'd like to take the remainder of this episode to tell you about myself and some of my values. Faith is my most important and first value. Without faith and a father to place that faith in, this life would ultimately be meaningless. For me, coming to faith was entirely through the grace of Jesus Christ. And that might sound like a cliche, and I know that it does, but I'll give you a little bit of my background. I was raised Catholic. I went to Catholic school from kindergarten through senior year of high school. And I know Catholicism inside and out. And after years there, I basically chalked it up to a bunch of man-made rules that some guys made and decided on, and I just felt like I could see through it. I didn't believe it, and I jumped to the conclusion that if all of that's made up, and that's what I've learned here for 12 years or more, then I also don't believe in God, because if they made up the rest of these rules, probably the whole Bible's made up, and I just don't believe in God. So I went for years believing that. I was an outspoken atheist, trying to convince everyone who would listen to me there's no God and all the reasons that I had. And I didn't make every wrong decision, but I almost made every wrong decision. I've tried all the wrong things. And I can tell you that there is nothing that leads to peace and warmth and comfort except for a relationship with the creator of the earth, and that's Jesus Christ. Second only to my faith is my marriage. I'm so lucky to be married to my best friend. Jessica and I have been married for almost 11 years. And second to my salvation through Christ, she is truly the greatest gift of my life. And I'm not just saying that either. It's the first few years of our marriage, they're tough. I bet most marriages, they're tough in the first few years. We bickered and we fought, but over the years, we've grown to be best friends with one another, and we've grown to trust each other, and we talk, and she's my home. She's my other half. And it's just such a blessing to have her. She's the greatest wife I could have asked for, and I'm so thankful for her. And I'm also thankful to my dad for teaching me and laying out a lesson of what it is to forsake all others and to commit yourself entirely to your wife. One of the many blessings my wife has given to me is teaching me how to appreciate the little things and not being overwhelmed by the frustrations of minor difficulties. And I'll give you an example of that. So we live here in Kansas City, and one of the things to do is to go to Union Station and Crown Center. And for me, my whole life, going to Crown Center or Union Station is like, I don't want to go there. There's too many people. Everything's dirty. The handrails are sticky. There's messes everywhere. It's too much noise and too many people and all of that stuff. And I wouldn't go. So when we were early in our marriage, she'd want to take the kids in the strollers and push them around. All I could think of is just chaos and just frustration. I just didn't want to do that stuff. But I did, because I'm trying to do the best I can, and I did it grudgingly. And well, over the years, she taught me that she's not looking at the dirty handrail or the messes or the noise. She's not looking at that stuff. She's appreciating the beautiful Christmas tree and the elaborate wreaths and what do they have on display over at Union Station? Oh, this is exciting to walk through the tunnel. And it's all of those little things. That's what she focuses on, and she enjoys it. And she's taught me to do the same thing. And that's not who I am, but it's who I've become. And it's just one of the many reasons that I'm grateful to her. And just after my marriage, I value my family, not just my 3 kids, but my 2 brothers and my extended family. And again, my mom and my dad, I just owe them so much for the example that they set here. Both of them, they weren't about hanging out with their friends and they probably should have done more hobbies, to be honest with you, but they devoted their lives to their kids, and they were there for us. All of the sports and the activities and things we did as a family, I and my brothers felt like the world revolved around us growing up. And they just completely poured themselves into us. And it's been a great example to me of how to be selfless and to make the childhood of your kids special and to enjoy those years. My parents did it so well. In life, there are several principles which I believe can either make or break a person. For me, the first of those is honesty. And when I say honesty, the first thing that pops into my mind is my grandpa saying, honesty is the best policy. My dad said that too. My grandpa would say, right is might. Tommy, just tell the truth. Just whatever comes up, just say the truth. If it's hard, if it's painful, if it's going to get you in trouble, it's okay. Just say the truth. And the truth will set you free. And it's so true. And there's times in my life that I've lied about little things, and you pay the price for it, double, triple, quadruple, or even more. It's not worth it. When you're honest, it relieves the stress, and you just let the light of day shine on the problems that you have, and communicate that with the people that you're with. People understand that no one's perfect. We all jack up things, but honesty is the only path towards healing and repairing the mistakes that we've made. So honesty, it's just so important. Reliability is another one of those principles. When I talk about reliability, the first thing that pops in my head is Matt Bartle, my business partner here at North Oak. I think it was the very first business meeting that I had with him. I had a construction company at the time, and we were meeting about some ideas for the business, and we were scheduled to meet at 1 o'clock, I think. And I was running late. I remember there was ladders strapped on the top of my truck. They had come off. I had problems that I was trying to get away from on the job site. I had real stuff going on, and I didn't always show up late to things. But to this appointment, I showed up it was almost 10 minutes late, which doesn't sound like a lot, but Matt, he's the kind of guy, he'll just call you out on stuff that you're not doing right. He doesn't let it slide because he cares about you enough to tell you the truth. And some people might take offense to that, but Matt's trying to help you when he calls you out on these things. And he told me that day, he just looked me in the eyes and he said, Tommy, don't be late to meetings. I didn't even know him at this point. He said, it makes the other person feel like they're not important and that you don't value their time. And I was like, man, it hit me hard. It's like, I don't even know Matt yet. And he's laying it on me right out of the gate. And he should have. And that stuck with me, because the thing is that the person that you're meeting with, they don't know that my ladder's fallen off. They don't know that and the truth is they've got their own problems going on. And he's right. If I show up 10 minutes late to an appointment, the other person's going to think, well, this just must not be very important for them. And it's the wrong message to send. So that's a little thing. There's other, it's easy to show up on time. That following through on commitments that you make. And again, when you can't follow up on a commitment, it's just, you go back to honesty. So you do the best you can to be reliable, but man, I've had examples of people who are unreliable in my life, and it makes me want to be as absolutely reliable as I can. Now, the next one is a double-edged sword. It's definitely one that I've taken too far at times, and that is hard work. So this is one of those things that's like, oh yeah, my downfall is hard work, but something I've learned is that you can beat your head against the wall doing the wrong thing, and just because you're really beating that head, it's still a stupid thing to do. And hard work doesn't fix stupid. And man, I've been there several times. I've worked numerous 30+ hour days, 30 hours straight. Wake up at 8, all the way 8 to 8, 12, 8 to 8 the next morning's 24. Another 8 was 32. I think I've gone even further than that, till 10 o'clock that next day. And man, I'm bleary-eyed and just exhausted. And I've got the passion to accomplish what I set out to do, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes. But I'll take that too far with effort. We need sleep. And I've learned that if I'm pushing myself that hard, there's probably something wrong with my philosophy. There's probably something wrong with the strategy and the approach. And as I've gotten older, I don't do that as much. I still find myself, it's tempting because I want to muscle everything through. But I've learned that if it requires that much muscling, maybe there's a smarter way I could do this. Tenacity is a lot like hard work, but I think it's even more important. It's one of those things that if it's pointed in the right direction, it's hard to overdo just an undying tenacity. So when I was 21 years old, I was diagnosed with cancer. I had a young business, I had a young relationship, and I had to face my mortality at 21 years old. In fact, they misdiagnosed it, and for months, I thought that I had a death sentence, and the doctors did too, and that's what they told me, that basically, this is not good, you've got something terrible. And so I thought that I'm likely toast soon at 21 years old. And man, it really dialed my focus in on doing things that matter and not giving up either. It's like, I don't want to die at 21 years old. I've got a lot of stuff I want to do in life. And I'm not just going to sit here and roll over. I'm going to persevere through this. And man, at the time I had bills, I had employees, I had clients, I had all of this stress going on. And I'm carrying the weight of all that stuff and going through chemo, and I've got no hair, and my sweat was chemo juice. And I've been at that point where I didn't think I could go forward. And I've also persevered through that. And man, the vigor that gives you, the perseverance to just say, no, I'm going to fight. I'm going to be like Rocky. I'm going to run up those stairs in a pair of sweats, and I'm going to work my rear end off, and I'm not giving up. It's motivating. It fuels your life. There's a fire that comes up, and it feels good. It's so much better than rolling over and dying. So much better. And that's where my tenacity comes from, is focusing through the pain and getting through it. Because what's the alternative? Give up on your dreams, give up on your family, give up on your health. The alternative, it's either give up on what you want, or you persevere and you hammer through the pain. And when you do that, there's actually a secret that the perseverance and the refusal to give into it actually brings in this sense of vigor. It brings in a sense of adventure and a battle. And now you're Rocky out there and you're getting to live your own adventure. And so really the challenges that come through, they're really blessings. It's hard to see that each time they roll over you and another wave of life crashes down on you. But each one of those, they're an opportunity to build yourself up. And you get to know what you're capable of when you're stripped down to further than you thought you could go. And in the final analysis, it's good for you. One of the most important lessons I've learned is how to learn from other people. So that's mentors, books, podcasts, and one of my best mentors, two of them, my grandpa, Matt Bartle. And just talking to these guys, they're successful. They know their stuff. They've been through a lot of different things, and they both have these variable perspectives, a lot of different perspectives out there. And just tapping into the way that they see the world and the things that they've been up against, it broadens your horizons. And it can be hard to get a lot of different mentors, but you can find as many mentors as you want in books and in podcasts. And that's really a big part of why we want to make this podcast, is to create a shared community of knowledge and experience and lessons learned so that all of our clients and our investors and anyone who's interested in real estate rehabs can come in and learn from other people's experiences, because you stand on the shoulders of giants when you start to have mentors and other people speaking into your life. And it's just one of the best ways to accelerate your growth and to eliminate a lot of the frustrations that in fact are not necessary in the first place. No matter how well I stick to my principles, the truth is I still make a lot of mistakes. But what might be one of the most important principles for me is to always find how to grow from my mistakes. There have been so many different examples of mistakes that I've made as a father, as a husband, and in business. And I'll talk about some of my business mistakes here. Back when I had the construction company, I was paying those guys hourly. And in my mind, I thought that was just an easy thing to calculate and it made sense. But in reality, even if a person is honest, when they're working there and they're on the clock, the incentive is to just run the clock. And then if you have dishonest people, and the world has a lot of them, unfortunately, they're going to deliberately waste time. They're going to, as soon as the boss is gone, they're going to run the clock. And I should have seen that years before I did, but I spent years wasting a ton of money paying guys by the hour. It's just a stupid mistake, but that's okay, as long as you learn from it. And the important thing is to learn quickly. So for me, I failed on that one. It took me too long to learn that lesson. Another one with North Oak Investment. I made the bad decision of not having a verification system for the photos that we were taking in. Several years back, we got bid on that. And some people took some phony photos of a property. And after doing 700 loans, this happened to us on 2 properties, but all it takes is 1 or 2, really just 1, and you can lose a lot of money that way. And so we had to go in and fight with the legal system and chase after this person, and lesson learned. You have to verify photos. So now we do on-site inspections, and we have TruePic photo verification that goes in and looks at the geolocation of the camera, and it'll determine where that person was when they were taking the photo, and we compare that with the address of the properties. It's a great system to use for construction. So that's an example of just learning that lesson and applying the lesson learned so that you can avoid the future mistakes. Another thing is making loans to criminals. We've had a list of problem loans throughout the past, and what ends up happening is a lot of the times that we look back at which loans were problems and we go in and we pull the court history of that person, they're criminals. There's stuff there on the records. And when we got started in this business, we weren't pulling background checks. We weren't pulling credit reports. We were analyzing the deal as a true 100% hard money lender would. But we've had to learn that lesson. And now we pull credit reports. We get background checks on everyone because that's the easiest way to weed out the most likely candidate to be a problem in your life is the one that's a problem in everyone else's life that they deal with. And if you look at that stuff, you could just weed those out from the start. It's just another example of taking what are bricks thrown at you and building a wall out of them. We all make mistakes, but what sets winners apart from the crowd is their ability to recognize their own mistakes and to then have the tenacity to dig into the heart of the problem, uncover the lesson, and use that lesson to avoid the same problem in the future. Our goal here on the Launchpad is to give the leaders we're surrounded by a platform where they can share how they've grown from their mistakes, persevered through their challenges, and added to their toolbox of lessons learned, which have all enabled them to achieve the success that they have. I'm so grateful you've joined us, and I'll do my best to bring as much value to you as I possibly can. Thank you so much, and welcome to the Rehab Rebel family. Hey Rebels, we'd love to hear from you. Please take a moment to rate and review the Launchpad. Your feedback helps us improve and reach more listeners like you. We'd love to talk with you about how we can help, whether that's financing your next deal or partnering with us as a passive investor. If you have any questions or would like to learn more, leave us a comment and one of our team will reach out to you.